Good afternoon, class, and welcome to this particular lesson. From the previous class, we are going to continue the early urbanization in Cairo. And before we begin, let's start with a word of prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, we come upon you at this hour, Lord, to give you praises, thanks, and honor. We pray that you may guide our parents back at home. We pray for our students, for anything that we are going to teach. We hope that they are going to understand. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Now, I hope everybody is ready to begin this particular class and everybody is listening attentively and making sure that they are going to understand everything since exams are around the corner and this particular topic is going to be brought up. When it's brought up, to be set, when it's set, people must be able to listen carefully and read the questions for them to be able to write the exams. Now, everybody make sure you put something down, since after this I'll be checking notes to ensure that everybody is participating very well and ensuring that everything goes well. Okay, we are going to begin with early urbanization in Cairo. We know that Cairo is found in Egypt, and Egypt has this particular river Nile, which is well known to provide large volumes of water. When this particular river provides very large volumes of water, it helps it helps to bring about enough resources which will facilitate the growing of crops and many other factors. Now we are going to begin with this particular Egypt factors which led to the growth of Cairo. It has the Nile River, which provides water for domestic use and as a means of transport. When we come to this particular topic about Nile River, this river was very well known to bring large volumes of water. Now, these large volumes of water which was brought was used in irrigation of plants for domestic use. You know, when water is used for domestic use, this particular water is used like washing utensils, bathing, day-to-day activities like drinking, washing clothes. You know, water is life, and without water, nothing can take place. Now, this particular river really had a lot of advantages. This is because of the availability of enough water. Now, according to this particular river also, it is used as a means of transport because those canoes will be transported to this particular area, moving from one place to another, like for example transporting logs, wood. For example, these particular woods could be thrown into the river, let's say from one point to the other point, where the river flows steadily carrying these particular logs. You know, when river carries logs, it's like a means of transport. And when people pass through this particular place using canoes and doors, they reach their places early and in good time. Now we are going to the next point, availability. With this point, make sure you listen and write it. Availability of water for irrigation, which increased food production. You know, when there is water, there is food, there is the growth of plants. Now, when there is the growth of plants, we have when there is growth of plants, we have food. When we have food, day-to-day activities goes on very well and in accordance to time. Now, due to the presence of enough water for irrigation, we now see that plants were now irrigated. People now in this particular Egypt, this country of Egypt in Cairo, when we have this particular water for irrigation, plants are able to germinate in accordance. When plants germinate, we are now able to grow crops, and now able to mature and providing good yields. You know, when crops provide good yields, we have maximum food production. When we have maximum food production, people will people will now be able to conduct their day-to-day activities very well and in time. Now, this really helped to increase food productions in factories where this food was taken, manufactured into finished products. When goods have been made into finished products, it's very much easier for them to be stored and used even during the times when we have drought. When we have drought, people can now be able to conduct everything in accordance and with time. Now we can move to the next point. Industrial development. According to the industrial development, the industries attracted migrants from rural areas. We know when we have industries, we have employment. When we have employment, we have people who will move and come to this particular area in which they will help in manufacturing process. In industries, we manufacture goods into finished products. These particular goods will really help to develop food opportunities. When we have food, day-to-day activities is going to go on very well. Now, when we have when industry develop according to various areas, it really helped Cairo to grow. Now, this particular factor which really helped Cairo to grow led to several factors which really dwelt in developing this particular city. The other reason is fertile Nile Valley. When a place is fertile, one is able to when a place is fertile, one is able to bring a lot of production since plants will grow. The plants will be healthy enough. When plants are healthy, when we have fertile Nile Valley, the valley had adequate rainfall and rivers always carried silt. When a place is fertile, when crops are grown, they really grow very well, and when plants grow very well, they provide good yields. You know about the yields. When these particular plants produce yields, they they'll be able to be the increased growth of this particular area, and it will develop in a very good manner, facilitating enough food. When there's enough food, it will reduce the rate of youths from coming about corruption and from stealing. When people steal in order to acquire food, now people will not be able to steal anymore because there will be enough food for them to eat at this particular time. Now, this particular fertile valley has really produced enough food for Cairo. Now let's move to the next point. Also, according to this particular Nile Valley, it's it deposited down the stream to provide the Suez Canal, which was opened in 1869, which opened a new trade route which encouraged the arrival of thousands of Europeans. When we have this particular canal, it 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 acted as the trade route which facilitated a lot of people coming to this particular area. When people come to this particular area, they arrive in thousands, which when people come, a particular place develops. Now, this particular place really developed very well when when Europeans came, which they mainly dwelt with industrial development. They also dwelt with the growth of this particular area, leading to its emergence and just making this particular area develop very well and maturely, leading to its good development. Now, let's move to the next point, which is the commercial activities like trade location along trade routes. Commercial activities, the normal commercial activities. When we have commercial activities, this particular area does very well. It develops in accordance to time. It makes trading easy. When trading becomes easy in a particular area, it leads to this particular place becoming very good. When a place becomes very adequate, The daily commercial activities like having hospitals, having schools. When we have schools running around a particular area, when you have schools, we have the availability of students to learn. When students learn, they develop a particular area, making this particular area to develop in a very good manner. Now, when we move to the next, anybody who has not understood about commercial activities, let me see. Yeah, I see everybody's doing well. I see everybody's participating and everybody's writing down something, because you know good fruits come when somebody you instill hard work and discipline in your work. I'm not supposed to be looking around to see if everybody's listening. I know I need to, but you must have self drive. When you have self drive, you are capable of performing everything in a good way, in a good manner. I hope everybody is listening, and let's proceed to the next point. We are still at factors which led to the growth of Cairo at this particular place. We also have the opening of Aswan High Dam in 1902, which enhanced food production through irrigation. We know when we have dam is a construction or a site which is built and raised higher to ensure proper storage of water, or a place where large volumes of water is stored. When we have large volumes of water, irrigation is able to take place. When these particular dams are built high, to even during the drought periods, this particular dam is able to hold large volumes of water. When we have large volumes of water, irrigation is easy, as people will now be able, people living around the dams, water is supplied to wider areas, making people now able to irrigate their crops. When people irrigate their crops, it produces good yields, as crops will now be able to grow in an orderly manner and in large volumes. When we have a lot of food, everything proceeds in an orderly manner. Okay, now during this construction of the Aswan Eye Dam, it really led the growth of Kairas. Many people came to participate in which farming on which they really depended on irrigation. We also have the effects of two world wars which disrupted Egypt's trade with other countries, thus compelling her to find ways of substituting imports. We know very well about these world wars which occurred. When these particular world wars occurred in this region, it really disrupted this trade particular region in Egypt. Thus really making it to dwell on substituting imports. You know, when the First World War. Anybody who knows when the First World War occurred, I think this will be the next topic. Um, I hope now you have a clue of the next topic of what you are going to be based on and what you are going to discuss. When you are going to discuss this particular topic, we are going to make sure everybody understand what caused this World War to happen, the reason why it happened, the cause of emergence, the period in which it was really likely to happen. Okay, Cairo was also known to be a cultural center, being home to treasures preserved from the early Egyptian civilization and Islamic culture in their museums. This particular culture, they also had a place called Minarets. Anybody who has ever heard of this particular place? When we have museums, old historical tools are now being able to be stored in this particular place. At this particular region, when we store this particular stuff, we are we are now capable of finding everything, as in the future generation which is now coming aboard, they'll now be able to know what happened in the past, what is going to happen in the present, as in everything will be very easier and in order, which will lead to emergence of everything in a particular order. This particular industry, these particular museums really fast. In Egypt, There was this particular writing which was known as hieroglyphics. When we have hieroglyphics, this was a particular writing which was used at this particular time. This writing really helped to develop this particular region. Now, this facilitated the growth of this also really dwells and helped in the growth of Cairo. We also see that Cairo also grew as an educational center, as a center of education and medicine. We know very well that this particular region of Cairo, you know, most parts of the world which has developed, they mainly base their factors on education. We know when we have education, everything is going to take place in an orderly manner, and everything is likely to succeed. Okay, this particular region also developed as a result of medicine. When we have medicine, this really helps in developing this particular area, since when we have good hospitality and these particular factors, it really helps this particular region to develop, since people will now be able to access medical facilities at ease, making this particular area to develop. When we have medicine, we have good health. When we have good health, people are now capable of developing their their health. When you have good health, a particular place develops, since most people really dwells on looking for good health facilities for them to be able to access a lot of factors which really help them in developing their day-to-day activities. We also see that in Cairo, also according to education, we have these several institutions of higher learning, such as the University of Cairo, American University, and Azhar University, which contributed to this. When we have university, this particular university really helps in improving higher education. This particular higher education really helps in developing a particular region. When we have education, everything everything else goes very well in a particular manner. This particular university of this particular American university really helped everything, which made them to develop very well. When we have university, there is also a lot of factors which, when we have universities, some small centers will begin emerging. When centers emerge, these particular centers will develop. When they develop very well, we encounter lots and lots of profits and development. When we have this particular development, our students are able to learn very well. When they learn very well, they develop themselves academically. When people develop themselves academically, everything now proceeds in a good manner. We are now going to move to functions of Cairo. Let's proceed. Now we are the functions of Cairo. Now, Cairo, it was known to be a national capital and a political center of the Arab world. We know when we have the capital city of a particular place, we also have very many things like political center. Like we have this place where politicians gather. When they gather in order to participate in particular activities, we also see that when it's a national capital, many activities like health facilities, day-to-day activities takes place in this particular region. When we move to the next point, we also see that Cairo Cairo serves as the transport and commercial center of North Africa and the Middle East. We see that Cairo, when we have good roads, this particular place will have transport. Transport is always known as the movement of people and goods from one place to the other. When when there is movement of people and goods from one place to another, we know that everything is going to develop in a good way, ensuring ensuring that the goods and people move from one place to another accordingly. This particular region was also known to be a commercial center of North Africa and the Middle East. You know, a commercial is where we have all these activities taking place, like having day-to-day activities, having having everything, having everything develop accordingly and in time, ensuring ensuring that ensuring that everything develops very well. We also see that Cairo was also known to be a recreational center, housing many recreational facilities like stadiums and entertainment halls. You know, recreation is like enjoyment. It's like enjoyment, helping your body recover, going to places. You know, when we have stadiums halls, this is a recreation facilities. We have players coming to play. When players comes to play, we have people who come to watch. You know, when people come to watch, they pay some taxes. When they pay taxes, now we will get some amount of money from these particular recreational facilities, which leads to the developing of this particular area after time. You know, when we have time, we have developments. We also have entertainment halls. Entertainment halls is where people come to enjoy, to be entertained. Like we have theaters where people come to people come to participate in day-to-day life. They come and listen keenly and attentively, making sure that they just enjoy themselves. You know, Cairo has this particular effects in this particular region, which enables them to enjoy these particular advantages, since they are capable of listening to particular views in this particular region. Cairo has also been known to be a historical center, being the house of the Egyptian civilization for over 5,000 years. Cairo, you know, when historical center is a place where we can find these old artifacts, where things from the past has been preserved, where people come to this particular region to see particular effects. Also being the house of Egyptian civilization, when we have civilization, is like the development of a particular region, making this particular. Let's proceed. Cairo also serves as an industrial center. Many of these developed during the industrialization process. You know, this particular region of Cairo really developed due to industrialization. You know, this particular process led to the development of this particular place. You know, in Cairo, this really created employment opportunities to the people who are around this particular region, since they were able to participate with the industrialization process, making everything develop in a good manner. You know, when everything develops in a good manner, everything is going to continue in a very organized way. Also, now, since we have covered this particular topic accordingly, up to this particular region which we have covered, does anybody have any question? Oh, I see nobody has a question. Now, I think everybody is going to listen attentively and ensure that they understand everything very well. Now, let's move to the problems that Cairo faces. The following problems today. Every region in every country, every particular place has its advantages and disadvantages. When we come to Cairo, this particular region faces a lot of problems. The first problem which we encounter is the problem of high population. Cairo has this particular problem of high population. When we have a lot of people, there's these people will now have to rush in order to acquire resources. When people rush in order to acquire something, that is the scramble. Now this particular high population has really led to this particular region people scrambling in order to acquire what they want, which has really brought a lot of problems such as chaos. We know when people scramble, chaos occur. When chaos occur, there is a lot of problems. Now these are really has really been a big challenge to Cairo, and also these particular people has really the government is really trying to encourage family planning. When we have family planning, the number of people will reduce. There's also the scarcity of food. In Cairo, some parts of Cairo is really hindered with drought. When you have drought, there's scarcity of food since plants are not able to germinate in accordance and making these plants develop very well. When plants are not capable of developing in a good manner, we'll have scarcity of food, and without food, the problem of malnutrition will occur. And when this particular problem will occur, people will lack energy. Food brings energy. People will lack energy to conduct day-to-day activities, leading which really leads to this particular region not developing in a proper manner. Okay, let's now look at unemployment opportunities. Unemployment. Cairo has high population of youths. When we have a lot of youths, these particular youths need jobs for them to be able to manage their day-to-day activities. In order for you to manage your day-to-day activities, you must have money, in which this particular money will help people in their day-to-day activities like buying food, clothing, maintaining their shelter. Now, this particular unemployment problem has been very hectic here since many youths many youths have black jobs, making these particular youths to engage in thieving, becoming thieves, chaos, stealing people's properties. When people steal people's properties, there is no peace. And a country without peace really disrupts the day-to-day activities since people are now people are now living in fear. People are not engaged as usual, depending on themselves, making their making their activities proceed proceed accordingly and in an organized manner. We also have these particular housing problems. You know, the government of when the government comes across and they really dwell and try to build these very nice buildings, very high buildings, it will really make them develop this capability of having cheap houses. Now, Cairo is really facing this problem since since housing since housing facilities are very expensive, making people to live in these shanties, these slum houses, which appear to be a bit cheap. Somebody will be like, let me live in these shanty slums since I can afford it, and live in these nice houses and they're expensive. Now when the government comes through and increase and make sure that they increase the rate of housing, building very huge apartments, making them cheaper, it will really attract a lot of people, making this particular region develop accordingly. We also have the problem of pollution from the industries and vehicles. Cairo, we have Cairo has a lot of vehicles, and these particular vehicles use petrol. When these vehicles use petrol, the petrol is burnt down into gases, which makes it emit smoke, and this particular smoke is poisonous or not good for somebody's health. When we have smoke, this particular smoke this particular smoke produces bad air, really destroying the environment. When this particular smoke moves into the atmosphere, it affects the ozone layer. When the ozone layer has been destroyed, there's the lack of this blanket cover, which makes rays to come direct into the earth surface, which destroys the skin and can also cause skin cancer. We also have the problem of pollution from the industries, vehicle exhaust, desert storms, and garbage burning. When you have pollution from industries, some some people some people will have a lot of problems, since since they won't be able to since they won't be able to some people have heart diseases. When people are sick, this particular smoke will really affect their day-to-day activities, really affecting their health, making everything not occur in accordance and in an orderly manner. We also have desert storms. These particular storms, when storms come, they come with force. When they come with force, they really cause destruction. There's like this particular storm which moves in circular motion, speaking everything and really polluting the environment. I know most of you have seen this. Now, this particular problem is very major in Cairo, since 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 it really pollutes the environment of Cairo. We also have garbage burning in Cairo. When garbage is burned, garbage mainly consists of plastic. Plastic is very dangerous to the atmosphere when burned. It emits smoke, it emits smoke which is very toxic and poisonous to a particular environment, leading to destruction of the environment. In Cairo, we also have high crime rate. When youths are not employed, it results to high crimes. When you have crime, there is no peace, and when there is no peace, there is no harmony. A country with peace makes everything to develop accordingly. Like for example, here in schools, when people start rioting, start to demonstrate, making as if they want things to change, they cause crime. When they cause crime, we call from help from outside, from like the soldiers who are coming to take care of this particular place, ensuring there is peace. Now, high crime rate has really been a major problem here in Cairo, since a lot of youths steal, they kill, they rob people, causing a lot of problems in this particular region. Now, when we have security and enabling everybody to participate in nice developing, ensuring that there is no high crime rate, everything is going to develop appropriately, accordingly, and in a proper manner. We also have the problem of we also have solutions to the problem facing Cairo. According to Cairo, we also have after problems, we are now going to discuss about solutions. When you have solutions, everything is going to develop, and develop in a proper manner and ensure that this particular region is going to develop accordingly and improve in their day-to-day activities. Okay, the solutions. The food shortage problem is being tackled through reclaiming land for agriculture. The major way of avoiding lack of enough food is by agriculture. In this agriculture is the growing of crops and keeping of livestock. When we grow crops, we now we are able to get enough food here in Cairo, ensuring that everything develops in a proper manner and in a good way. Now, this particular region really developed due to agriculture. Also, there was the Aswan High Dam, which provided water for irrigation. This particular dam, which was built very higher, ensured that there was enough supply of water. When we have a lot of water, this water is used for irrigation, which makes plants grow accordingly. These plants grow accordingly, ensuring that there is enough food in this particular region. We also have this particular problem of the housing problem. The housing problem is being addressed by constructing industries in the suburbs to reduce the population in the city. When we have this housing operation, in which we really deal in building very huge buildings. When you have huge buildings, it's able to accommodate a lot of people, which will really reduce this overpopulation in this particular region of towns, ensuring that this particular region of this housing problem is catered for, since there will be affordable housing for people. Many people will now be able to live in their region of interest. We also have this we are now at the solutions. We also have these traffic jams, which now have been eased through the launching of the Cairo Metro in 1987, which was the Africa first subway system, which served the Ramses stations to the north and Helwan area to the south. It conveys 60,000 passengers per hour. This has really reduced the rate of traffic jam, since when we have a particular subway system which carries 60,000 people at once. Imagine if all those people could be having vehicles. Those could be really a lot of vehicles. When these particular people are now ferried once, it really reduces the level of jam, ensuring that this particular region is clear and people are now able to move faster from one place to the other accordingly, ensuring that there is faster movement. We have these goods which are perishable, and when they are not being able to move from one place to another in a proper manner, it will have caused a lot of problems. Now, this has really helped this particular region. Also, Cairo is known very well to be having this Africa fast subway system. When you have this particular system, it really dwells and helps this particular region to develop accordingly, ensuring that everything moves in a proper manner and managed very well. Okay, I hope everybody has understood. In the next lesson, I'm going to bring exams. It will be a small quiz. Now, make sure you read keenly, you understand everything, since I'll be setting to ensure that people have been listening keenly and putting down something for them to pass in their exams. Now, I'm going to pray. Our Father who art in heaven, we come upon you at this hour, Lord. We give you praises, thanks, and honor. We hope that you're going to make my students pass with flying colors, make them understand what I have taught them, and ensure that they are going to participate accordingly. In Jesus' name I pray and believe, amen. Now, in the next lesson, I hope everybody will now be able to come prepared, ready to answer the questions and conquer the exams very well. I like students who listen. When you listen, you pass. When you pass, your life becomes easier here. When you fail, you'll be having anxiety. You'll feel that you have let yourself down, and the major thing to overcome is by reading keenly. When you read, you pass. When you pass, your life becomes easier. Now, in the next exam, I hope to find everybody prepared. In the next class, everybody prepared. Make sure you arrange your desks very well. Since when I just come, I want everything to be in order to avoid any disturbances. Okay, I wish you all the best, and let's meet in the next class.